Hi everyone. It's really lovely to see you guys take time for this on a Friday morning. I know you must have had a very busy week. So, if I may request some of you, if you're okay to turn on your camera so I can see who I'm talking to, that would be great. Just a request, not a compulsory thing. So, thank you. I see Praveen have two people. Fantastic. So today's session is about personal branding, specifically around LinkedIn. But before I dive in, I want to talk about what personal branding is so that I can set the context. I know there are many misconceptions out there about what personal branding really is. So how do you live up to your full potential? You need to be able to make the most of opportunities, right? But we live in a very competitive world. How do you stand out effectively? This is where personal branding comes in. So which brings me to my next question. What is personal branding? What do you guys think it is? Feel free to unmute, say whatever you think.
So if someone search in Google, if they are visible to on any platform, if they are available in that any platform, any source, if that person name you're able to remember, that's called a personal branding. One kind of personal branding. If you remember any person
Fantastic.
name, any person name or anything, that's a brand.
Lovely. Satish has almost got the full thing. Anyone else want to take a swing at it?
Yeah, it's promoting ourselves in different platform, like wherever we go, like it's promoting ourselves.
Okay, if likely minded people are in the group and if some of the or few of them, if we know our name, okay, that is also we can consider as personal branding.
More about the visibility, that skill set that we have, that to demonstrate others that what we are good for and what we are actually meant to do. Maybe to create an impression to the other's mind that what could be the profile we have and what could be the things that we can achieve in future. Those sort of information we can create a lasting impact.
So for me, personal branding is nothing like aligning our service and as well as creating a trust factor and face value for a person, right? So to the specific target segment, whenever they think about some service and my face value or my name has to get like more recall value. So for me, that's the personal branding is all about.
Fantastic. We had so many lovely answers, and many of you have almost got it right. So, now that we have talked about this, I want to talk about what personal branding is not about, just so we can get some misconceptions out of the way, because it could be a mind block for you, right? So, your personal brand is not you talking about yourself, okay? It is not self promotion. In fact, what you think about yourself is your personal identity. So, now let's talk about what personal branding actually is. It is what other people know you to be. So I think it was Jeff Bezos who once said, your personal brand is what people are saying about you when you are not even in the room. Okay. So your personal brand is nothing but the outward manifestation of everything that you've got going inside you. Okay. The way you talk, walk, look, deal with people, dress at your workplace. Maybe you have a website. I think Satish mentioned a few digitals, your business card, your LinkedIn profile, even your non-verbals. So basically, it is what people see, feel, think, say, and do when they come in contact with you. This is your reputation. It's your brand. So now, why is it so important to have a great personal brand? Because if you think about it, the truth is you are constantly being interviewed or evaluated for positions or even roles that don't even exist yet. People are constantly thinking, will this person be a right fit for something I want to do in the business? So when you have a great personal brand, people will pay you more attention. When you have a great personal brand, people respect you with encouragement and support, and you will be given additional responsibilities. The better your brand is, the more you'll be trusted to handle. So this is how you get picked over others in a crowded marketplace. This is how you can grow and pursue your goals. And I'm not just saying this because I, Google this somewhere. I have personal experience as well. I began my personal branding journey just 5 years ago, and my growth has been phenomenal since then. Of course, I was always good at what I've done, but once you know how to align your passion with your personal brand and you know how to market yourself, you will definitely see results. And generally, right, whether you are actively building your personal brand or not, you already have one. The only difference is when you're working on your personal brand, you are intentionally creating a brand that will help you reach your goals. You are controlling that narrative. So I'm here today to talk to you about one of the best ways to begin building your personal brand digitally through LinkedIn. This is a great platform with over 1 billion users. LinkedIn recently celebrated reaching 1 billion. And the great thing about this is there is not enough people on there posting content at the moment. So, what does that mean for you? There's less competition for attention. It's not quite like Facebook or Insta yet. The competition for attention is still low, unlike other popular platforms. So, this is a great time to jump on LinkedIn and build your personal brand. So, now just give me one moment. I'm going to pull up the slides that I've put together. So, now what I'm going to be covering is a few tips and tactics that I have put together. It's like a formula, 3-step formula. It has multiple steps underneath it that I have derived after analyzing over 50 influencers. So this is not something that I have put together from my personal experience. I have observed influencers on the platform from around the world. I follow many of them. I sometimes have taken their courses and materials. So this is information that is coming to you from that one. Okay, just one second. Let me pull up my screen. Please let me know once you're able to see my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes, Kavitha.
Okay,
It's visible.
great. Okay, so let's get started. First things first, on LinkedIn, you must optimize your LinkedIn profile. So, how to do this? Step one is you must tailor your profile to you. I know a lot of you will ask me, can I get an about us or can I get this? There is no formula out there that will give you, no, there is no template out there that will give you exactly what you need. You need to tailor the profile uniquely to your experience because your LinkedIn profile is your landing page. So, you're the product. People have to come onto the page and buy you. So, what is the first thing that you must do? Grab attention with a profile picture that showcases your personality. So, there's a lot of tips out there that will tell you make it formal, make it this way. I would say personally, stick to a DP that reflects your personality. If you see mine is quite colorful, and this is because it matches my personality. If you think something formal works for you, that's great. Go ahead with something, and I would recommend that you use Canva, remove the background behind you, make it neutral colors or whatever. Like I've done something, I have a color theme for my profile. So you can choose what works best for you. The next thing is the banner that you see on top. The banner can also be personalized. So these are things that you can do very easily using Canva. And when I say Canva, the paid version, I would encourage you to think about. I'm in no way promoting Canva on any front, but just saying it's quite user friendly, and I believe it is affordable. You can use Canva for a lot of things like this. Customizing your LinkedIn banner, you need to use a one-liner elevator pitch inside your banner. So your banner is a good real estate where people can hop on and see what is this person all about. So when you visited my profile, you will see this. So who is this person and what do they do? So I'll understand what they do by looking at the banner. The concept behind customizing the LinkedIn profile is that we don't want to waste any real estate. So when people hop onto your profile, you want to use every second of their attention to convey who you are, right? The next one is the featured post section. So let's say you have already been posting consistently on LinkedIn, right? There are lots of posts you can do. And I would personally recommend that you feature posts that are closely related to the path that you want to grow into. Let's say, for example, I want to grow the leadership roles in marketing. So if you see all of the feature posts in my section talk about how I am able to drive results, or I'm posting things that make me look like a thought leader. Don't fall into the trap of showcasing popular posts. Like maybe you have a post that had 600 likes. It's just about something generic. This is not a place for you to showcase your popularity. It is to help explain to people who you are and who you can be, your potential. And we're still in step one. These are a number of things you can do under step one, which is LinkedIn profile optimization. And the fourth and most important thing within profile optimization is the about section. This is a huge real estate where you get the opportunity to talk about what you do. And I would recommend that you can use storytelling format. Of course, it needs to be in alignment with the kind of target audience that you have. If you are, let's say, someone who's fresh in the industry, perhaps you could use language that's a bit more relaxed. If you're looking to grow into leadership roles, you can still keep it a bit formal, but it must be easy on the eyes and quick to grasp. Like when you see the format that I've used, you see a lot of white spaces, And I'm talking mainly about how I'm solving a pain point. So you have to place yourself as a solution to your target audience's problems. So for me, for example, I've said I can help brand growth. That's what I do. So I'm tapping into the first line. If you see, I'm tapping into their pain point. Are you finding it hard to grow in this market? Let me help you. I didn't start with third person narrative. I'm talking from first person. That is I. I'm doing this. I know many of you will use third person narrative like a resume format. Do not do that. LinkedIn is a bit more conversational. So you can change it in first person narrative to better connect with your audience. Okay. And make sure that you're talking about a pain point. Pick one pain point and talk about that. If you're okay to also include a bit of your personal things, you can, but you need to make sure that they're still strategically aligned with your career goals. For example, I place myself as a person who has global exposure from a very young age. So this is to showcase that yes, I can handle things from a wider scale. So the next thing is the keywords. So LinkedIn also has a search bar on top. So if people are searching for specific roles, you want to make sure that those keywords are incorporated into your header section. Many people just use the role that they have in the current company. You can do that, but this is not a real estate that you need to tailor to the employer alone. You can have generic ones as well. Like, for example, here I have a wide number of things. I would say 80% of this space you can use to customize to the title that you want to or aspiring to grow into. If you want to be a leader in a space and you don't have the experience for it, you can use things like enthusiast. So, not quite an expert. Let's say you want to be a design leader. Maybe say leading a design enthusiast. You're just learning, but you are someone who is gaining experience. And if you're experienced in the thing, you can also call yourself a leader if you have many years of experience. And you can also use 20% of the space to make it a little unique to you. So I would generally recommend this because there are many people out there who are doing the very same things that you do. So in order for yourself to be unique, add something from your personal achievements, your passion. For example, I love personal branding. I've been doing this for quite a while. I've mentioned I've helped over 200 people, which I have. So that, as well as organically through my posts and other things, I was able to reach over 4 million people. So I've managed to sneak that in. This is a limited space. So really think about what you want to say in this space. This takes a long time to kind of figure out. But once you have it, your profile is almost halfway done optimizing. Okay. The next few important things. You must list down the right skills under your profiles and also showcase all the latest qualifications, honors, awards, whatever you've received in your profile. So these are all things that are very unique to you, right? So very, very important to tailor these to you. Make sure that the skills you're mentioning are relevant to the positions you want to apply to and true. And be sure to link your certifications, other things, and awards on your profile. This one's quite straightforward. This may be a little something that you may want to think about quite strongly. Build social proof, because whenever we want to buy a product, we're always going to go look for reviews. Who is this person? What do they do? I'm sure all of you do fantastic work, but have you actually reached out to your leaders or your peers and asked them, hey, can you leave me a review? That's something that you should be thinking about. Social proof is very important. It's good to have social proof from people in the relevant space, but also great to generally have social proof, that is testimonials from people who are from a different space as well. It all goes to show that you can work collaboratively, that you're a great team player or maybe a great leader. So this is something that really, really matters. If you haven't started anywhere yet, I would say first start by looking for social proof. Ask people if they can write you a testimonial, and don't feel shy. I know you might feel a bit of a mind block, but this is good. You can write them a testimonial back. So this could be a two-way street as well. So now that was step one. That was all about LinkedIn profile optimization. Okay, now that we have that out of the way, that was be the first thing that you should do. Okay, so if you're not on LinkedIn, if you haven't done anything yet, first look at your profile, fix that, all of the steps I mentioned. Now let's jump on to step two. So LinkedIn is, after all, a social media platform, and how social media works is it's got to be social, right? So you have to engage with other people on the platform. What generally many of these influencers have noticed is if you are engaging with people around 30 to 40 minutes before you post anything, the platform boosts your posts. So also, if you want to appear in front of your target audience, go reply to some of their earlier posts or add other creators from the same niche and go look at their profile, like it, add comments. This sends a signal to the algorithm to push your post further. So this is a must. There might be a way around this as well. If you know a lot of people, right? If you generally have a sound personal brand off of LinkedIn and you have a lot of connections, you might be still able to get engagement, but your reach might not be that high. If you're a naturally very social person, and not, it doesn't matter if you have a lot of followers, but if there are people who, think you're great, they like your post, that's great. You might still get a lot of engagement, but if you want reach, you still have to engage on the platform. Next one. So I've just given you guys some examples of how you can reply to comments. Of course, I would not recommend you to use these kind of prompts, but to get you started, if you're wondering what to say, there are some basic things you can say. If someone's talking about something amazing, then it could be like thought provoking, blah, blah. You can say something like this and validate them. So the next one, step 3. So once you've engaged with people in your niche, once you've been social on the platform, what's step number 3? You need to stop the scroll. People are scrolling on social media. They might not give you much of their time or attention. You have exactly 2 seconds to stop their scroll and grab their attention. So I recommend that you use hooks. So what do I mean by hooks? When you're starting out your post, the first line has to hook the audience. And these are some things that I'm suggesting, some of the many things that you can do. And if you go look at my profile, you will see some of the hooks that I've used for many of my posts. First one is using psychological trigger words will make your content powerful. Okay, so like for example, here you see I'm talking about Google phasing out third-party cookies. So if I had just said, for example, imagine I said Google is phasing out third-party cookies, it would sound kind of dull. But I've started out saying hard pill to swallow for brands everywhere. So that's a hook, right? Some more examples of what you can use. And these are quite popular. I don't know if you may have seen them. You could have. People say uncomfortable truth, and then they talk about something. Unpopular opinion, hot take. These are all things you can use for hooks. They're trigger words. Immediately people are curious and they'll be like, okay, let's see what this is. They'll click on that more button. So when you hook them in, right? Once you hook them in, tell your readers exactly in your hook what they can expect from you. So even if you are going to ask 5 seconds of their time, what can you do for them? For example, these are some of the hooks that I've used. Give me 180 seconds and I'll show you how to blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about what I'm going to teach them in the post. And then this 90-second post will teach you more about creating winning content than $1,000 course. So in that hook, you'll say, okay, let me just see. She just says 90 seconds. So you're kind of validating them, like give me this much time and I'll teach you so much. These are some hooks you can use. And this is something that I want to personally say because I've spoken to hundreds of people about personal branding and they all have this one thing in their mind. How can I talk about myself? I don't know if I'm all that great. This is called imposter syndrome. You might be amazing in whatever you do, but you have those doubts and fears in your mind. So kill them. We all have to grow from being a fresher, we all have to go through the same path, right? So that's how we learn. And we need to talk about our wins on social media. That's the only way your story will be able to go out, right? If you don't talk about yourself, no one will. That's how things are. So kill your imposter syndrome and talk about your experiences and wins. I've made some posts earlier about some of the things that I've done with my previous employer. I've talked about how many million impressions I was able to do through my work. So these are all things that I have boldly talked about. I have also been in your shoes. If some of you feel, I don't know if I should talk about it, but once you build that narrative, you'll be able to see that this is how you can post content. You need to kill that imposter syndrome. This is all just some examples of what you can do. Like, for example, some of the stakeholders I have worked with, they come back with all these comments. So I've taken screenshots of different people and removed their names for the sake of privacy. So also one more thing that you may want to keep in mind if you are posting anything related to work, you need to be very aware of what kind of information is okay for you to post. If you're taking company related info or if you're taking comments like this, for example, many of them are internal stakeholders. So I do not want to expose their names. I've removed the name. So you need to be aware of what you're doing when you are posting. And you can definitely, this is also one more form of social proof. People saying they liked my work, right? For people who want to use AI, right, I would say also, or people who like to use formal language, sound a bit fancy, maybe that might be okay if your niche audience is that level that can only go for that sort of thing. But generally, I would say this is not a Shakespeare class. Use simple words, try to avoid AI, because why I say this, right? This is not a blog post for a company or a brand. This is you on your profile. So it has to sound like you. If I see your profile, for example, and you make all these amazing posts, but when I chat with you in person or on call and the language skills or the vibe I'm getting is completely different, you won't be able to, your goal will not be met, right? It has to be an accurate representation of who you are, which is why I've said avoid using AI for personal branding completely if you can. It has to be you. So be clear, don't try to be clever with your words, right? Be concise, that is sharp to the point. Don't be overly verbose. Don't use a lot of words, no complex stuff, because this is social media, right? So when people are scrolling, you want to catch their attention in, let's say, a few seconds of time. So they see it, they like it, maybe it registers in their mind. So that's all we're looking for. And how some tips that I would give is read your copy out loud. Let's say you've made a post and you're wondering if it sounds okay. Read it out loud to see if we made any, sentences that sound cliche or robotic. You want to remove all of those. And this was an interesting negativity bias thing that I learned from an influencer. So she says negativity bias is very good for hooks. That is, here she gives two examples. Which one will make you run faster? She says, will you run faster if a tiger is chasing you and you're running for your life? Or are you going to run faster if you're running towards a suitcase with $1 million, right? We are going to obviously choose A. So we do, as human beings, we do more to avoid pain. That's how we are wired, than to gain pleasure. So using a negativity bias for a hook in the beginning of your post works really well. So some examples from people who have done such stuff. Here we have a corporate wellness trainer. She's talking about the same thing in two different ways. 3 mindset shifts to live a happier life. Sounds okay. But the second one sounds a bit interesting, right? 3 beliefs that are robbing you of joy and keeping you stuck. So this is going to attract more attention than the first one. And I've also done one this way. 8 reasons your website content is failing to rank on Google search. So I've tried to use a negativity bias for a technical topic. You can also think about how to do that when you're posting. And this is a very simple one. So as you know, many people are going to be skimming through social media. And if you're going to be posting, this is some simple formatting tips. Write in short sentences, use white space, bullet points are great, better than commas, cut out clever words like I said, and use descending or ascending order for listicles. Listicles is basically anything, maybe you're saying 10 ways to improve your productivity. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, you give 10 points, or 1, 2, 3, 4. You list out stuff. Those kinds of posts do really well. So you can try that as well. Make sure that you are able to keep the formatting in mind, because our end goal is not to sound fancy, but to catch people's attention and for them to remember who we are. That is what personal branding is about. Okay, so this is a huge post I've done, and I've talked about my personal branding journey. I think I made this one a couple of months ago. And if I had written it in paragraphs, I'm pretty sure nobody would have had the attention span to read it, but I've kind of split it up. Can quickly skim through what I've done. Okay, so I started out with a storytelling format, and then I talked about what I've done, what I'm good at. I kind of put it in a storytelling format, and this one did well. You can also think about how you can incorporate many of the things that I'm telling you. And this one is kind of interesting. I know this is a lot of information to cram into a small time space, but I will also share this material with you guys. You can go through it later. So the 7th one, when you're posting, is niche your content. The word niche means speak specifically about one area. So talking about too many things is going to confuse your reader. If you are, let's say, digital marketing person, maybe you talk about digital marketing related things, or maybe a wider area in that space, right? And if you're looking to grow into leadership roles, you might want to come up a little wider and think about what would a leader say in that space. So you might want to stick to that niche. Why I'm saying this is because many people get confused. Do I think about the likes and the follows, or do I post about what I need to post about? The answer is it's a mix, but don't fall into the trap of looking at likes and comments alone, right? There are lots of people who are silent observers on many of these platforms. So your takeaway should not be, I became, I got this many likes, follows, and impressions. I mean, yes, that matters, but what is the ROI for you? Are you able to take away anything from that? How has it impacted your life? So this is really important, the niching your content bit. And I can give you a small strategy that's quite simple for you guys. So do this 7-to-2-to-1 ratio. Okay, this many influencers swear by this. So 70% value based, that is your niche content where you're talking about, tips on something around your field, your thought leader kind of post. Keep 70% of your posts like that, value based. 20% you can have personal ones on there because it's good to be personal, but only if you're comfortable with that. And 10% promotional. You can talk about things like, I won this award, I did this, I went to this event, I was a speaker there. So those kind of things. This is a good ratio. So if you follow this ratio, you'll be able to give your audience maximum value, and they will definitely enjoy consuming your content, and they will remember you for the right things. So that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you, everyone.